Before actually creating some macros, it's worthwhile to see some more examples to deepen the rationale as to why we want to use this great feature. In this particular worksheet, you see these numbers in millions. Nothing wrong with this at all. Many people who deal with large numbers, however, might want to use a different format. I'm just going to highlight these cells here. For example, in cell E5 here, how about that being displayed as 415.1? That sounds like something easy to do. I'm going to do it manually here by simply right-clicking, going to Format Cells, and the solution is not one of the built-in number formats, but you need to go to Custom, and actually, so you can start with almost any one of these, and alter it to include a point zero, and believe it or not, comma, comma. And that will display these values in millions with a single decimal place. And you could easily imagine someone wanting to have that at his or her fingertips. And we'll be showing you how you can have macros be executable, or you can make them happen with a single keystroke shortcut or a button in the quick access toolbar. Another feature, one that I don't use a whole lot, but take a look at this idea here with this data here. Double underlining is a feature that not everybody needs, but nevertheless, on the Home tab, you will see an underline button, and some of you have used double underlining. That's one kind of double underlining. There's another kind called double accounting. And in this example here, I'm not making the case for saying everybody needs this, but if you need this, you'll right-click, go to Format Cells, go to the Font tab, and choose double underlining. The only difference in the two of these, by the way, is how close it puts the lines to the text. But the idea is it's a feature that you need. And if you do, you get annoyed at the fact that it takes too long to get here. Now, we've already suggested some other macros, for example, a list here, the idea that we might frequently sort this, we might hide columns along the way, we might filter it. If it's a process that we use often, we'll definitely learn how to use macros to record those processes, and then the next time we need them, just execute them quickly. But here's another list. This is about 2,400 rows. It's a list of realtors from one state. We've got 6 rows of information about each person here. And the data is great. We need it. It's going to help us enormously. It's not in the form that we want, however. And try as we might, they won't send it to us the way we want. What are we trying to do here? You could easily imagine a typical Excel user saying, I'd like to get all the names, for example, in column D. Get those names over there. Put the company names right here, maybe. How about the business addresses right here? And as you look at the data, a good Excel user will probably think out 3 or 4 different ways, maybe, to do this. You might use a filter. You might just start copying the data. What you wouldn't recognize at first, though, is the following idea, and it's a new idea here. If you were to highlight these cells, either one by one or in clusters, and copy the data, for example, over here, so that it looks like that, and then do the same thing with the next set of names and the next set of names, you could do that in a certain way while recording your actions. And then, and this would be a huge leap, and you wouldn't make this intuitively, you could essentially say, let's take these actions and perform them over and over and over throughout this entire list of data here. And again, that's the kind of thing that macros can do that you don't quite pick up on at first. If we simply confine the idea of a macro, it only picks up recorded actions. You wouldn't make this leap. But this macro that we're talking about here has been written. We'll show you how a bit later. And here's a button to make it happen. 2,400 rows. Watch what happens. And it's not going to take very long. And there is a way also to not show this interim activity, and it will happen even faster. When you start to see some examples like this, I think there's little doubt as to why you need to know more about macros.